Muy buenas noches con cada uno de ustedes, estimados participantes. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas a nuestro curso gratuito de Inglés Avanzado C1, que corresponde a nuestra cuarta sesión académica. Sí, el Tecnológico les da la cordial bienvenida a esta cuarta sesión académica. Una vez más, indicarles que nosotros estamos ubicados en Perú, en el departamento de Apurímac, en la provincia de Andahuaylas, lugar donde nosotros impartimos nuestros cursos completamente gratuito. Recuerda que usted no paga ninguna matrícula y tampoco paga mensualidad, son completamente gratis, estimados participantes. Así como pueden apreciar en el mapita, estamos ubicados al sur del país, por el medio donde nosotros impartimos nuestros cursos gratuitos en la provincia de Andahuaylas. Los convenios de cooperación que nuestra institución cuenta, tenemos el convenio respectivo con la Municipalidad de Turpo, también con los GEL de Andahuaylas, con el Instituto de Formación Cooperativa y Ambiental, con los Andes Cotarusia y Meraes, con el MINJUSH de Apurímac, con la Asociación de Servidores Civiles del Ejército Ministerio de Defensa, con la Municipalidad del Centro Poblado Los Ángeles, Huancaray, y finalmente con el Instituto de Educación Superior Tecnológico Público Chincheros. Con estas 8 entidades, contamos con el convenio respectivo para fomentar su educación académica y profesional, estimados participantes. Esa es la finalidad. Como institución tenemos ya más de 7 años de experiencia orientada a ofrecer educación virtual gratuita de alta calidad, no solamente a nivel nacional, sino también a nivel internacional. Para ello contamos con el equipo del Tecnológico, que es integrado por la plana administrativa, plana de docentes y asistentes académicos. ¿Sí? Muy bien. Recuerda, cualquier pregunta, duda o consulta que pueda surgir durante el transcurso de la clasecita, no duden en escribir al docente o a la docente por la bandeja de mensajes, ¿correcto? Listo, la bandeja de mensajes es el medio de interacción para que ustedes puedan participar, estimados participantes. Invitarlos a que se inscriban a los cursos gratuitos del mes de octubre que ya se encuentran disponibles. Tenemos en el área de ofimática, gestión administrativa, idiomas, docentes. Son cursos que les va a ayudar a ustedes mucho en el ámbito académico y profesional. Tenemos en cuanto a ofimática lo que es Word básico, el intermedio y el avanzado. También lo que es Excel básico, intermedio y avanzado. Excel para negocios, PowerPoint básico. En cuanto al área de gestión administrativa, tenemos lo que es el CIAF en módulo administrativo, gestión pública y control gubernamental, gestión documental y mesa de partes, recursos humanos en el sector público, legislación laboral y gestión de planillas. También tenemos lo que es asistente administrativo, ¿sí? Contabilidad gubernamental, asistente de gerencia y dirección, como también invierte.p. En cuanto a idiomas, estimados participantes, tenemos lo que es inglés básico A1, inglés básico A2, también lo que es el inglés intermedio B2, el inglés avanzado C2, estimados participantes, también lo que es el quechua básico A1, el quechua intermedio también B1, también está lo que es el italiano básico A2, el italiano intermedio B2, ¿sí? Con estos cursos nosotros estaríamos dando inicio el mes de octubre. También lo que es en cuanto al área de docentes, que es inteligencia artificial para educadores y los demás cursitos que ustedes pueden apreciar en pantalla. Lo único que tienen que hacer es preguntar al celular que aparece en pantallita, que es el 953-772-123, y de esa manera para que le pueda ayudar en el proceso de inscripción. ¿Sí? Excelente. Recuerden que cualquier duda, pregunta o consulta, no duden en escribirme de manera interna. Soy su asistente académica Ana Veraste y cualquier preguntita de manera interna. Si ustedes desean pedir permiso, informarnos algo, sugerencias, comentarios, de manera interna estoy para poderlos ayudar. Mi celular es el 991-373-227 para sus dudas o consultas. La docente del curso es la profesora Jenny Vilca, responsable de poder impartir este curso de inglés avanzado C1. La frecuencia son solamente los días lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 9 de la noche. La duración del curso es de 2 semanitas, estimados participantes. ¿Sí? Excelente. El día de hoy corresponde a la sesión 4, que es Active Voice and Passive Voice. En la sesión 5, que es el día miércoles, estaríamos viendo lo que es Past Tense Review. Y el día viernes estaríamos concluyendo con nuestro curso que corresponde a Question Tags. Con estas 6 sesiones académicas estaríamos culminando nuestro curso por completo. Recuerden que la metodología de trabajo, pues todas las clases son en vivo mediante la plataforma de Google Meet, de igual manera todas las clases son grabadas. Las clases grabadas, los materiales y los enlaces de las clases en vivo se les comparte a ustedes por su grupo de WhatsApp, estimados participantes, ¿sí? Toda información la vas a encontrar en tu grupito de WhatsApp para que ustedes puedan de esa manera tenerlo, ¿sí? El examen final es el último día de clasecitas, estimados participantes, así que ustedes van a poder repasar, todavía tienen tiempito, es el día viernes después de clases de 7 a 9 de la noche nuestra sesión académica y después se les brinda las indicaciones exclusivas al examen. Para que usted se pueda certificar, recuerde que es importante aprobar el curso con una nota mayor o igual a 14, ya que esta nota acredita al participante que está apto o apta para su trámite respectivo de su certificado. El costo es de 30 soles para los de Perú y de 10 dólares para los que se encuentran en el extranjero. ¿Cómo le va a salir el certificado? Le va a salir el certificado con mención en inglés avanzado C1 a nombre de la institución del Tecnológico. Somos nosotros quien nos certifica. ¿Con cuántas horas académicas? Con 90 horas académicas, estimados participantes, ¿sí? Todos nuestros certificados cuentan con el código QR. Recuerda que un certificado avala su conocimiento y puede ser adjunto en su CV y puede tener mayor oportunidad en el ámbito laboral para que puedas aplicar algún puesto de trabajo, ya sea en alguna entidad pública o privada. En las modalidades de envío tenemos lo que es de manera digital, el cual aplica tanto a nivel nacional como internacional, lo enviamos vía WhatsApp. Y en cuanto a la modalidad física, solamente aplica a nivel nacional. Hay envío con Shalom, el cual el costo es de 15 soles más y con Olva es de 35 soles más. Ya va a depender de usted, estimado participante, con qué empresa hace el trámite respectivo si se encuentra en Perú y de su certificado físico. ¿Sí? Muy bien. De igual modo, el último día de clasecitas vamos a tener lo que es el sorteo. ¿Qué sorteo? Vamos a sortear los certificados completamente gratuitos. Quiere decir que uno o dos de ustedes se pueden certificar de manera gratuita en este curso, siempre y cuando sea la creador o ganador en el sorteo. Vamos a realizar ya una pequeña oración para poder dar inicio a esta sesión número 4 programada para el día de hoy. Vamos a agradecer a Dios por un día más de vida, por permitirnos conectar a estas horas de la noche, estimados participantes. Pedir a Dios por cada uno de nosotros para que nos pueda dar fortaleza, voluntad, ganas de poder continuar y seguir. De igual manera, pedir por la docente para que la pueda cuidar, la pueda iluminar y bendecir. En esta noche Dios nos quiere decir mediante Salmos, capítulo 4, versículo 8, en paz me acostaré y asimismo dormiré, porque solo tú, Jehová, me haces vivir confiado. Todo lo que hagamos el día de hoy, mañana y siempre, sea en nombre de nuestro Padre Celestial. Amén. Amén con cada uno de ustedes. ¿Sí? Ahora sí le voy a dar el pase respectivo a la docente. Por favor, estimada docente, voy a dejar de compartir pantalla para que usted ya pueda activar audio y compartir pantalla. Amén, Wendy. Excelente. Adelante, por favor, estimada docente.
Good evening, señorita Ana Patricia. Good evening, everybody.
No logramos escucharle, estimada docente. A ver si mejoramos el audio, por favor.
Can you hear me? ¿Me pueden escuchar?
Ahora sí, adelante.
Okay, as I said, good evening, everybody. We are going to start our fourth session. Okay, today is our fourth session. We are gonna work on active and passive voice. Hoy vamos a ver la voz activa y la voz pasiva. Let's start with our classroom rules. As we said, be on time, raise your hand if you want to participate, and keep your microphone off. Let's start with our welcome sign. Welcome everyone to our online learning platform. Let's embark on a journey of discovery together. Welcome everyone. I'm thrilled to have you here as we begin this educational adventure. Welcome everyone who is eager to delve into new ideas and expand your knowledge. Your presence enriches our virtual classroom, and I'm excited to get started. Welcome everyone to our digital gathering of eager minds. Together, we'll explore the wonders of our subject. Welcome everyone whose dedication to learning is commendable. Let's make the most of our time together. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. I extend a heartfelt welcome to each of you. Thank you so much for joining in today's class. Let's learn about passive voice. Vamos a aprender sobre la voz pasiva. Okay, we are gonna do some activities for listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills in English as we have been working during our previous sessions, ¿no? Lo que hemos estado trabajando. Let's start with an introduction to passive voice about crimes and mysteries. Have you ever solved a mystery or investigated a crime? Have you? Let's work on this first question. Vamos a trabajar en esta primera pregunta. Have you ever solved a mystery or investigated a crime? Never, Mario. Okay. Have you ever read about a novel based on mystery or crime? Have you ever read a novel about mystery? No, no, Karen. Okay. Yeah, read. Yeah. Okay, Mario. Very good. So you have some experience about this topic. Good to know. Okay, so many people, let's work on our second question. Many people find crimes fascinating. Do you enjoy hearing about them? What do you think about crimes? Do you find them fascinating? ¿Qué opinas de los, I don't know, maybe movies or novels or news about crimes? Do you find them fascinating? ¿Te gusta leer sobre este tema? Can you share your ideas? What do you think? Do you know any unsolved crimes? Do you know any unsolved crimes? I like films, movies. Exactly. Sometimes they have interesting endings, right? Why do people sometimes... The last question. Do you know any unsolved crimes? Maybe you have heard something in the news. Quizás has escuchado algo en las noticias sobre crímenes que no se han resuelto. Yes. I like to watch movies about solving crimes. Yeah. Okay. What about this last question? Why do people sometimes sympathize with criminals? Why? Why do you think this happens? Any ideas? It also says here, and want them to get away with their crimes. Why do people sometimes sympathize with criminals and want them to get away with their crimes? Is the question clear? Do you have any questions about the clear? ¿Está clara la pregunta? Good evening, Angie. Dice, ¿por qué las personas algunas veces muestran empatía, ¿no? con los criminales? e inclusive llegan a decir que los liberen o que ya no se considere el crime. Why do you think this is the feeling for some people? Can you write your answers in the chat? Why do you think people sympathize with criminals? No, no ideas? Well, sometimes people, mhm, yeah, sometimes they have problems in their childhood, and sometimes they are misjudged, ¿no? No son juzgados in a fair way, en una forma justa. And sometimes people ask for justice, right? And they can sympathize with their criminals when they are not really criminals. They have been sentenced as murderer or guilty. Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. But sometimes they are not really that bad. They are victim of the circumstances sometimes, right? So that's why many people think or sympathize with them and say, okay, they are not supposed to be treated like that because they are innocent. But justice is like that, right? Sometimes it's unfair. Algunas veces la justicia es así, pues, injusta, ¿no? Okay, so that's gonna be our focus today in passive voice about crimes and mysteries. Let's continue with another part, okay? So, what are you going to do in this class? We are going to explore the passive voice in English through the exciting context of crime and mystery. In this part, I'm going to explain you what's the passive voice. The passive voice is commonly used in police reports, news stories, and mystery narrative to focus on the action performed rather than who performed it. You know that in English we have two different voices. We have active voice, which is the normal way we communicate daily, and also we have the passive voice. So the use of the passive voice can add a touch of intrigue and suspense to crime and mystery stories, and also to your sentences. Passive voice is commonly used in newspapers headlines, ¿no? La voz pasiva es muy común verla en los titulares de las noticias, de los periódicos, because they want to impact people. They want to catch your attention so that you can buy the newspaper or you can buy the magazine or you can buy the novel and things like that. So that's the intention of the passive voice, ¿no? Esa es la intención de la voz pasiva, llamarte, intrigarte, ¿no? Ponerle algo de suspense, ¿no? For the reader, ¿no? So, como dice aquí. So I'm going to start with this short role play about the teacher and his students, ¿no? The teacher introduces himself and says, "Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to embark on an exciting journey into the world of crimes and mysteries. Have you ever imagined being at the scene of an intriguing crime or solving a complicated mystery?" And then the student says, yeah, I've read a few mystery novels, and I've always wondered how real investigations work. The teacher says, exactly. And in this class, we are going to discover how the passive voice can add that touch of suspense and mystery to crime stories. Imagine being at a crime scene, surrounded by clues, footprints, and suspects. How will you describe all that in English? The students start thinking and said, I suppose the passive voice could be useful to focus on the actions and the objects instead of the people doing them. That's right. The passive voice allows us to highlight the action itself and create an intriguing atmosphere. Now, we are going to dive into the vocabulary related to crimes and mysteries in order to be well prepared for our exploration. Now, After this role play, I want you, students, to write down in the chat what is the intention of passive voice. Ahora ustedes, después de haber escuchado este role play, escriban en el chat, what's the intention? ¿Cuál es la intención de nosotros para usar el passive voice? How is it going to help us to communicate? ¿Cómo nos ayuda a comunicarnos? Any ideas? Or let me rephrase the question. How can you make passive voice sentences? What's the structure? ¿Cuál sería la estructura para hacer voz pasiva? No ideas? Exactly, Maria. You highlight the action rather than the doer of the action. Exactly. The intention is to communicate what the action is and not who made the action or who the subject is. Exactly. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing, Maria, Angel, and yes. So let's continue. I'm going to explain you the rules with active sentences and passive sentences. Look at this. This is my example. This is what you normally say or communicate. The detective solved the mysterious case. This is what you normally say in a sentence. ¿Sí? Eso es lo que normalmente decimos en un active sentence. Tienes tu subject, tienes tu verb y tienes tu object. To change this into passive sentence, look at the transformation. Para poder decir esto en pasivo, este object, que es el mysterious case, va a convertirse en our new subject. It's going to be the new subject right here. ¿Sí ves? The mysterious case. And something very important comes here. Y aquí viene algo importante. Este verb que tienes no va a estar solved solo. Tiene que estar acompañado del verb to be. ¿Sí? Verb to be. En este caso debemos tener en cuenta que el time de mi active sentence, ¿sí? Debo considerar mi time. Por ejemplo, a ver, students, what is the time in my active sentence? The detective solved the mysterious case. Present, past, or future? Presente, pasado, futuro. ¿Cuál es el tense in this sentence, in this original sentence? Past. Ajá, es simple past porque si te das cuenta tienes el verbo solved. Eso identifica un past. Entonces, be careful, porque cuando lo vas a transformar, when you are going to put this sentence into passive, tienes que usar to be in past. And we have two elements. Y nosotros tenemos dos elementos en pasado de to be, que es was y que es were. And after you choose this, or one of these verbs, y después de que elijas este verbo to be, was, or were, then you have to use the original verb that it's given in the active sentence. Una vez que eliges was y were, pones el verbo que te dieron en tu voz activa. Por eso, si vemos nuestro ejemplo, dice, the mysterious case está usando was, ¿verdad? Porque es singular. Y al ladito está poniendo el verbo original o el verbo de la voz activa. Solved. Was solved. Exactly. Este verb que está al ladito de was es el past participle. In this part, en esta parte, como es un regular verb, no vemos el cambio tan notorio, ¿verdad? But remember, we have two types of verbs in past, regular and irregular verbs. So be careful when you try to change sentences from active to past. to passive, right? For example, the girl wrote a letter. I'm going to explain this much better. The girl wrote a letter. So you know the wrote, it's an irregular verb, right? So how can we change this into passive? ¿Cómo cambiamos esta activa a pasiva? Ver, can you write down the answers in the chat? ¿Cómo puedo cambiar the girl wrote a letter, que es una voz activa, into passive? A ver, write your answers in the chat. Yeah, perfect, Angie. Any other ideas? Ok, so let's break it down. Vamos a romper esta oración en partes. Primero, nos enfocamos en el subject, the girl, ¿verdad? Siguiente paso, identificamos el verb. Y por último, nos vemos con el object. Sabemos que el object, para que sea passive, va a ser el primer elemento. Entonces lo escribimos. A letter. ¿Sí? O a letter. A letter es mi nuevo subject. ¿Qué dijimos? Que vamos a elegir un verb to be. En este caso, como está en pasado, voy a poner, y letter es singular, voy a poner was. Y dije mucho cuidado aquí, porque queramos que el verbo que le sigue al was o al were o a cualquier forma del to be, tiene que ir en past participle. What's the past participle of the verb write? Ustedes lo pusieron en el chat y es written. Excellent. A letter was written. That's it, right? Mi oración puede quedar ahí. A letter was written. But if I want to express exactly who wrote the letter, I can say, and I need to use by. No uso for, no uso to, no. Tengo que usar este preposition, by, because that's going to be the identification for the doer. ¿Sí? Entonces, a letter was written by, you can say the girl, you can say by her. ¿Sí? Entonces, yeah, Angie, that's grammar. And you know that certain things or certain rules cannot be changed. You need to learn it by that, in that way. ¿Sí? No es que haya una explicación exacta, pero ellos te dicen que si vas a considerar, if you are going to consider the agent, you need to use by. And it's also here, right, in the chart. Mira, si ves, está aquí en el chart. Si es que es un agent, tienes que ponerle by. You cannot use another preposition. No puedes usar otra preposición. I know that the intention when you translate things, it could be used, but grammatically, maybe it's not correct. ¿Sí? Entonces, de repente, ¿no? Cuando yo estoy traduciendo o quiero interpretarlo, esa preposición encaja. But I have to be aware that sometimes that's Spanish, not English itself. So be careful about it. ¿Sí? So, entonces quedamos así. In the active sentence, you need a subject, you need a verb, and you need an object, ¿verdad? When you change the active into passive, you need to consider other elements. The subject, verb to be, depending on the tense, and then by, if you want to name the agent. Okay, so let's continue so that we can keep practicing on this tense. ¿Sí? Vamos a ver en esta voz pasiva. Okay, here you have another example. It says here, the thief stole the valuable painting. Exactly, by translated for. The thief stole the valuable painting. Quedamos que el object viene a ser el new subject, entonces está transformado, ¿no? It's the new subject, so you can put it right here, and it says, the valuable painting. Again, identifying the tense of the sentence is past. Entonces, volvemos de nuevo a usar el was y stolen. Take a look at the difference, right? En la voz activa era solo stole, pero ahora, como es un past participle and it's an irregular verb, the form change for stolen, right? You can see it right here. Stole, stolen. And what's the original form of this verb? ¿Cuál es la forma original de este verbo? Stole. Can you write your answers in the chat? What's the meaning of stole? Yeah, thank you so much, Mario. Steal. Steal, very good. And then if you want to mention the agent, you use by. Steal, very good. Perfect. So I think the idea is much clearer, but pay attention. Let's continue with more examples. ¿Sí? Vamos a ver más ejemplos. The third example. Someone identify the suspect. That's my active voice. Now I'm going to put it into passive. Like, again, right? You can see that the suspect, which is the object, now it's going to be my new subject. The suspect. The same thing. Stop right there and try to identify the tense. The tense is in past. That's why I'm using was. Since this is a regular verb, you can see that there is no change in the verbs. They are exactly the same because they are regular. In irregular verbs, you need to be careful because the past participle changes. And here you can see that my agent is in blank. Why? Because it's understood that someone has done the action. The suspect was identified by a man, by a girl, by a woman, by a mistress, by a gentleman. Okay, so you understood that somebody identified the suspect, and you don't want to tell who has done the action because maybe it's a secret, because they are protecting the witness, ¿no? Y no lo van a decir porque quizás lo están protegiendo, ¿no? Porque estamos hablando ahorita de crimes. Entonces, so that's why that part is in blank. ¿Sí? En esa, exactly, it's understood. You understand who has done the action. It's a person. But you don't want to say who. No quiere decir quién. So, sometimes that happens, ¿sí? So, algunas veces no vamos a usar by because it's understood. It's implied. Ya está implícito. Okay, let's continue. Passive versus active. A sentence in the passive voice has a corresponding sentence in the active voice. In an active sentence, the subject acts upon the object of the sentence. In a passive sentence, the subject is acted upon by the agent. No, es todo lo que hemos venido haciendo. Nos vamos a enfocar en la acción, más que en el sujeto. Aquí tenemos the explanation, the active and passive. Dice, the police catch some criminals. That's active. To change into passive, ¿no? Tenemos aquí nuestro original sentence. The police catch some criminals. Aplicando la regla decimos some criminals. Vamos a detenernos ahí porque si vemos nuestra... If you can see your original sentence, it's in present. Si te das cuenta, está en presente porque dice catch. Por eso aquí ya no está apareciendo ni was ni were, sino are. ¿Por qué? Porque el tiempo está en present. Por eso les decía, be careful with verb to be. Mucho cuidado con el verbo to be. Ese es el que va a absorber el time of the active sentence. Ese absorbe el tiempo de la oración activa. ¿Ok? Catch. Catch is an irregular verb. What is the past participle? Caught. Some criminals are caught. And then you can use the object, the agent, by the police. Sometimes it's understood and you cannot use it and you can say only some criminals are caught in the middle of the night, or some criminals are caught at the end of holidays, things like that. Ok, como les digo, mucho cuidado con nuestro verb to be. Be careful with verb to be. Another examples. The subject of the active sentence becomes the object, the agent, right? Estamos cambiando el orden. Preceded by the preposition by in the passive sentence, or sometimes, like I said, it disappears, ¿no? Puede desaparecer. Some criminals are caught by the police, or just like that, some criminals are caught. Let's continue. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It was a rush. Okay, now I'm going to share with you a special chart that you can refer to at any point, at any time, so that you can refresh or remember how to use exactly passive voice in the different tenses. Mira este cuadro. Este cuadro is giving you ideas of how to put passive voice into the different tenses. Tenemos simple present. Let me check with you this. Tenemos aquí simple present, present progressive, simple past, past progressive. Tenemos future, present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. Y he usado este subject, the crime, in all the combination of verb to be. Y todas las combinaciones que podemos hacer con el verbo to be. For example, the crime in simple present is. If you want to make it in negative, isn't or is not, but you can see right here. And then the present progressive is, and take a look at this, ing, is being. El crimen está siendo investigated by the new team, by police officers, by the governor, by the members of the jury, things like that, any agent, right? Another tense, the simple past, the crime was investigated, fue investigado. Was not investigated, no fue investigado. So you have the different combinations that you can use. Also, look at this, future. Future, look at this. The crime will be investigated. Será investigado. Oh, it's going to be investigated. Will not be. What is the negative of will not? Cuando tú tienes will not y lo quieres hacer en contraction, what expression can you get? ¿Qué obtenemos con will not? Cuando lo hago en contraction. Won't, exactly, won't. Do not imagine to write down willn't. It's won't in negative. So the crime won't be investigated. Won't be investigated. For example, here in present perfect, cuando hemos estado viendo los present tense review, trabajamos mucho lo que es el present perfect. Míralo ahora en pasivo. Present perfect. Has not, y uso been. Has not been investigated. Always, all the time, Angelina. Siempre el verbo va a ir en past participle cuando hablas en pasivo. ¿Sí? En passive, siempre. Por eso, be careful with the irregular verbs. Mucho cuidado con los irregulares. ¿Sí? Here, in passive voice, you need to be careful for two reasons. En el pasivo siempre debes tener cuidado por dos razones. Uno, choose the best verb to be. Elegir el mejor verbo to be, o the one that fits in your sentence, el que encaje en tu oración, according to the tense, and the past participle of verbs, y el pasado participio de los verbos. That thing have to be in your mind when you transform active into passive. Eso siempre en nuestra mente, verbo to be y past participle, para pasivo. Okay, let's continue. Now that we have seen some explanation about the tense, you can refer to the chart as you consider necessary, and we are going to work on these examples, okay? Vamos a trabajar en estos ejemplos. Write your answer for number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we are going to share what. When you fill in the blanks, it's very important that you read the whole sentence. Cuando nosotros trabajamos fill in the blanks o llenar los espacios, it's very important to read the whole sentence so that you know exactly what tense they are referring to. Para saber qué tiempo estás trabajando, ¿sí? A ver, number one. What tense is it? ¿Qué tiempo es la oración 1? Present, past, future, perfect. Yeah, very good, Angie. It's past. Entonces, very careful. Yeah, yeah, there. Yeah, simple past. Simple past. The cake was baked. Very good. Excellent. Good. Let me write your answers. You have written this in the chat. Was. Okay, let me put it in bigger letters. Yep. Like this. You said this, right? Was the bake. Perfect. What about number 2? The book by many people before it became a bestseller. Also was, right? Was read. Very good, Michaela. Michaela was read by many people before it became a bestseller. What do you see, or what it's the answer for number 3? The car. The participants solo sé que nada sé. Was reading, why? Was reading is your answer for number 2? Because that's not the verb we are looking for. Be careful about it. Yeah, the car. Excellent. And Angie was parked in the garage overnight. Good, you're there, Michaela. Excellent answers. The car was parked in the garage overnight. What about number 4? The problem by our team, and it was successfully solved. Yeah, Michaela. Read states like read in past participle, yeah. Only the pronunciation changes. That's of course. That's true. You got that one right. Was that called? Good. Was that called? Good. By our team, and it was successfully solved. Oh, the verb read. Yeah, in present is read. In past is read. Past participle the same. The painting was created by a famous artist, and recently it was sold for $1,000,000. Look, in this last sentence, we also have past participle in this part, right? It was sold. Y fue vendido, ¿no? For millions of dollars. Another sentence here with passive voice. You see, when you make sentences in passive voice, I consider that you are sound more interesting, or you want the people pay attention to you, ¿no? Cuando haces estas pasivas, como que quieres que te presten atención, es más llamativo, ¿no? Que dice, the painting was created by a famous artist, and recently it was sold for millions of dollars. Okay, thank you for sharing your answers. Let's continue with the other examples, more examples to practice passive voice. What will you say number 6? The letter by the time I found it in my mailbox. Any other ideas? Okay, the letter was delivered by the time I found it in my mailbox. Or also had been delivered, had been delivered. Ya había sido, ¿no? Had been delivered by the time I found it in my mailbox. Mhm. Number 7, the new software update by the IT department, so it will improve system performance. Ya, ¿por qué no puede ser was delivered? Por la expresión by the time, implica como que un pasado mucho más atrás del simple past, y ahí te ayuda el past perfect. No hemos visto aún past tenses. We're going to see that in our next class, and I will explain the difference between simple past and past perfect, which is considered way back from the past, ¿no? Es un poco más atrás del pasado. Just for the expression by the time. That expression by the time implies perfect tenses. Implica los tiempos perfectos. Si no estuviera el by the time, it's perfect to use the letter was delivered when I found it in my mailbox. Sí, way back behind. Sí, bastante para atrás el by the way o by the time. Excellent. The new software update. ¿Por qué Micaela está usando el will? Because if you can continue reading the sentence, si te das cuenta y terminas de leer la oración, le marcó ya el tiempo. Al final, so, cuando encontramos ese fanboys, dice so, it will improve system performance. Entonces, exactly. En la oración encontramos el will, entonces so I have to keep the tense. Tengo que mantener ese tiempo. So the new software update will be implemented. Will be implemented by the IT department. So it will improve system performance. Okay, number 8. The ancient ruins. The ancient ruins. Number 8. Okay, be careful about that, Fabiola. Ruins. That means plural. Can you use was or you use were? Excellent. Where discovered. Were discovered. That's what I said. Be careful with the verb to be. Sometimes it's was, sometimes it's were, depending on the subject. Okay, what about the movie? The movie. No, don't worry, we are here to learn. No, sorry. No, sorry to be. Okay, number 9, what do you say? The movie? Yes. Fabiola? We can say was, we can say had been, because since you don't have an expression, you can use both tenses. Yes, very good. Yeah, had been praised or was praised. Excellent. What about the last one? The valuable jewelry during the burglary. Unfortunately, it has not been recovered yet. It has not been recovered yet. Mhm. Number 10. Good. Yeah. In this part, it could be has been, right? Stolen. Why am I choosing this tense? Because if you can read the complete sentence, si leemos toda la oración, acá al final dice, it has not been recovered yet. Me está marcando como que ya el tense, el tiempo. Ajá. Me está marcando el present. Perfect. Entonces aquí tengo que mantenerlo, ¿no? The valuable jewelry has been stolen during the burglary. Unfortunately, it has not been recovered yet. Thank you for sharing. Let's continue. Okay. Uses of the passive. I'm going to explain a little bit deeper how to use the passive voice. You can use the passive voice in the following situations. When you don't know who performed the action, or it is not important to say who performed it. For example, the money was stolen. The plane was refueled. You don't need to know who did the action. It's just right there. It's, you know that something is missing, but you don't know who did the action. Yes, the money was stolen. The same right here. The plane was refueled. You don't consider important to say who does the action. ¿Sí? ¿No consideras importante mencionar quién lo hace? Por eso no usamos el by con el agente. Yes, that's the first use. ¿Sí? El primer uso del pasivo. No olvidemos. You don't know who performed the action, or it's not important to say it. Second, when you want to avoid mentioning who performed the action. Cuando quieres evitar mencionar quién realizó la acción. Por ejemplo, you say, information is known that hasn't been released. Y acá hacemos una anotación. We don't want to say who hasn't released it. Dice, la información es conocida o se sabe que la información no ha sido revelada. ¿Sí? I was given some bad advice. We don't want to say who gave the advice. No queremos decir quién dio el consejo o quién sugirió eso. I just mentioned and I say I was given a bad advice or some bad advice. Sí. Second use. No evitas. Avoid mentioning. Third use. When you want to focus on the, cuando te quieres enfocar on the receiver or the result of an action instead of on the agent. Sí, cuando te quieres enfocar más en el que recibe, en el resultado de la acción, ¿no? For example, the thief was caught. It's understood by the police, by the officer. Emma was written. Emma is the title of a book. And then you can say by Jane Austen. So if you want to mention who wrote the book, ¿no? Pero estamos haciendo ¿qué? Focus on the title of the novel. Nuestro enfoque o nuestra intención es que se centren en el título de la novela o del book, ¿sí? Emma o Harry Potter. Harry Potter was written by J.K. Rowling. No? That's one thing you can do. And I think the last, we have some exercises. So, entonces, tenemos tres usos. You don't know who performed the action. You want to avoid mention who performed the action. And you want to focus on the receiver. Three intentions of the usage of passive voice. Now, let's choose or the correct option for these sentences. Can you write down which of the two options that you have in bold can be used to complete the sentence? ¿Cuál de las dos acciones en negritas puede ayudarte a completar the idea? Right now, a new hotel is constructed or is being constructed downtown. Aha, very good. It's a progress, right? It's an action that is happening. So you say is being constructed. Very good. Okay, number 2. Joseph had his car serviced or had serviced his car because he couldn't do it himself. Okay, let me explain this sentence. It's, for example, your car is broken down and you need someone to fix it. So you take your car to the garage for a mechanic to fix your car. Excellent. So that's the intention. Had the object, his car, service. Had his car service. ¿No? Joseph had his car service. Entonces vamos a explicar un poco acá. Nosotros dijimos en number 1, is being constructed, está en una acción en progressive. En number 2, hemos dicho had his car service. ¿No? Ha ido a que arreglen su carro. Because he couldn't do it himself. What about number 3? Obtuvo, ¿no? Su carro arreglado. The thief, yeah, were caught when they tried to spend stolen money. Good. Where? And what about number 4? Good. Very good, Maria. Excellent. Be careful. I put this sentence in purpose. I put this sentence on purpose so that I can see how can you choose the correct option. It's die or was died? It's only die. Very good. The driver of the car died in the accident. Very good. Be careful about it. You need to understand the sentence so that you decide if that's a passive or just an active voice. Thank you so much for your answers. Let's continue. What about right here? 4 more sentences. Can you share your ideas? Let's see. Evidence shows that the theory sometimes you can omit. Algunas veces puedes omitir el by cuando ya está se sobreentiende. When it's understood, you omit the agent because the idea is clear. Porque la idea ya está clara. Only if you don't mention the agent. And sometimes that's one of the uses, ¿no? Y ese es uno de los usos que mencionamos. When you don't want to mention the agent, you don't use by. Evidence shows that the theory, excellent, has been disproved. Number 6, the children were good. Were being driven to school when the accident happened. Los niños estuvieron siendo llevados, ¿no? A la escuela Estaban siendo llevados a la escuela cuando sucedió el accidente. Ajá. The suspects won't have. Good, Mario. Excellent. Bing. And the last one, I got the job done. Won't have been. Mhm. By an assistant. Very good. Mhm. Good. Excellent. Well, don't forget, Fabiola, check the word assistant. It's with T at the end. Assistant. Good. Mhm. Let's continue. Let's continue with the presentation. Okay. Now we are going to use the verb report. This is my verb to work with passive voice. And in parentheses, you have the tense that you need to use. For example, the news, you need to use simple present. Simple present tense with the verb report. Vamos a usar solo el verbo report para escribir passive sentences. En paréntesis, te doy el tiempo que debes usar. Why? Because you need to choose the correct verb to be. Ese tiempo en paréntesis es for you to choose the correct form of verb to be. Es para que ustedes puedan elegir la forma correcta de to be. ¿Sí? Lo que está en paréntesis. Let me do number one so that you have the idea. This is the verb I have to use, report. Y me dice aquí en paréntesis, simple present. Entonces, I'm going to analyze my subject, the news. Is, what is, I'm using is because in parentheses, they say simple present. Sometimes the news is considered just is or are. That's okay. Both verbs are correct, ¿sí? La palabra news puede ser usado con is o con are. Yes, yeah, very good. I'm going to use is. If you want to use are, let's use are. Vamos a usar are. The news are simple present of report, reported. ¿Sí? Ya absorbí el simple present con el are. Y el past participle de report es reported, porque es regular verb. Okay, that's my answer. What about number two? Present progressive. Present progressive. Os. Mucho cuidado, os. Lo que me estás haciendo es solamente present progressive. No estás haciendo passive present progressive o present progressive impassive. Acuérdense que estamos trabajando voz pasiva. ¿Y qué dije? Si me olvidé, voy a mi chart, regreso a mi cuadrito, a mi tabla, donde están todos los tiempos, y reviso cómo se hace el present progressive en pasivo, impassive. Voy a volver a usar are porque está en presente. Pero, ¿qué me falta? What do I have to use para hacerlo progressive? Ajá, muy bien. Esto me hace falta, el being with ing, porque el ing is for progressive. Ajá. Ahora sí pongo mi past participle de report, que viene a ser reported. Entonces, the news are being reported right now. That's the form. That's the correct tense. Ajá. ING, Zoraida. Ese being con IIN, mira, estás poniendo casi dos past participle juntos y no se está cumpliendo la regla. El present progressive es are been. Regresemos al chart. Vamos a ver, number 3, vamos a ver. Number 3 dice present perfect. Vayamos a la tablita. Let's go to the chart and check qué es lo que dicen allí for present perfect. A ver, chicos. Students. The news. Ajá. Very good. ¿Cómo quedamos, no? Puede ser singular o plural. Lo voy a poner con have. ¿Qué más necesito? Allí sí voy a necesitar lo que escribieron hace ratito. El been. Y el verbo en past participle. The news have been reported twice today. Las noticias habían sido presentadas 2 veces hoy día. Reported, ¿no? Twice today. And what about number 4? Simple past. Simple past. The news. Si arriba usé are, ¿cuál es el pasado? Ajá, os puede ser was o también puede ser were. Como les dije, news puede ser considerado singular o plural. Puedes usar was o puedes usar were. Yeah, very good. Reported. These are the answers. Estas son las respuestas. Si te costó todavía ver esa combination de cuándo voy a usar progressive, cuándo voy a usar present perfect, por eso te di un chart. Por eso vimos nuestro chart para poder cambiar todos estos tiempos, ¿sí? It's complicated at first if you don't practice the verb to be. Aquí la clave, como les decía, es el verb to be. Ya sabemos que para simple present, am, is, are. Para progresivo, vuelves a usar are, am, is, pero le aumentas el been, el ing. Para el perfecto es el have o el has, y tiene que aparecer el participio de to be, been. ¿Sí? Y el simple past tiene was o were. ¿Sí? Ese es el primer step, como yo les dije, identificar the correct use of to be. Por eso decía, en paréntesis, es el to be que debes usar. Y muy aparte, el segundo paso es poner nuestro verbo en pasivo, el main verb, el verbo principal. ¿Y cuál es el main verb que nos han dado ahorita? Report. ¿Sí? Y como les dije, esto que está en paréntesis es para que elijas el to be. ¿Sí? Ok, vamos a continuar a ver más ejemplos, más ejemplitos para seguir practicando con el mismo verbo, report. A ver. 4 more sentences, 4 oraciones más. Seguimos trabajando con el mismo subject, the news. Pero ahora mira qué te está pidiendo en paréntesis. Past progressive. ¿Cómo formamos el past progressive? Oops. Excelente. Tenía que elegir primero was o were y obligatorio esto que está aquí, been. Y ahora sí voy con mi verbo principal que me dieron aquí en amarillito. Reported. ¿Sí? Entonces, the news were being reported or the news was being reported when the robbery occurred. Ya. Sigamos analizando ahora. Me dice past perfect, number 6. Past perfect. Mantengamos en mente. ¿Cómo se formaba el past perfect? ¿Cuál era el auxiliar que usaba para el past perfect? El had. Obligado siempre si aparece el had es el been. Siempre. Si es pasado perfecto debe ir had y been. No se separan. They are close friends. Son amigos cercanos cuando estamos haciendo passive. Had been. Ahora sí, pon el verbo principal, que es report. En past participle ya hemos quedado que es reported. Muy bien, Angie. Had been reported. Very good. ¿Sí? Entonces, primero analizo lo que me está pidiendo en paréntesis para ver el verb to be. What about number 7? Oh, perdón, I'm sorry. What about number 7, the news? Y dice aquí en paréntesis, simple future. Excelente. ¿Cuál es el futuro? Vamos a ver. El futuro se forma con will. También hemos visto que se forma con be going to. Vamos a usar el will y siempre va a aparecer con el be. Siempre. Porque recuerden que nuestro primer paso es elegir el verbo to be. Will be. Verbo principal, reported. Number 8. I'm sorry. The last part, number 8. Dice future perfect. No hemos visto aún el future perfect, pero se forma de esta manera. Will have been. Siempre se va a formar así. Will have been, el future perfect. Y el verbo principal, reported. ¿Sí? Will have been reported. ¿Sí? Ya vamos a ver el futuro perfecto también. Por ahora vemos qué es su estructura. El will have con el been. ¿Sí? Entonces, de nuevo recapitulando, ¿no? Primer paso, ver el tiempo. Time. Why? Because that's gonna help you to decide the verb to be. Si yo identifico el tiempo, he ganado bastante, porque se me va a permitir elegir el correcto verbo to be. Segundo paso, poner el verbo principal en past participle, ¿no? Como en este caso hemos estado trabajando solo con report. Sí, pueden haber, obvio, muchos verbos, pero ahorita me centré solo en uno para poder hacer las variantes. And you can see the variations of the tenses, ¿sí? Veamos las variantes del tiempo que vimos en nuestro chart. If you have any questions, please let me know. Si hay preguntas, me cuentas. Inclusive aquí está las respuestas que hemos puesto en nuestro chat. Aquí las tienes para que las revises. Vuelve a hacer los ejercicios. Okay? Do the exercises again and check your answers. Very good. Now, let's focus on this. Vocabulary related to crimes and mysteries. Tenemos suspect, clue, evidence, alibi, detective, investigation, witness, interrogation, crime scene, intruder, motive, caper, heist, culprit, and perpetrator. These are our words related to crime and mystery. And I also included the meanings. ¿Sí? Te he puesto los meanings of each new word. Ajá, alibi. What is alibi? Es tu coartada. And you can say, for example, alibi is number 4. Number 4 says, a statement, mira lo que dice number 4. A statement or evidence that prove a person was not at the crime scene when the crime occurred. For example, the police is investigating you and they ask you, where were you yesterday at 8 o'clock? And you can say, oh, I was having coffee with some friends. And that's your alibi. And the police have to investigate if you are telling them the truth or not. ¿No? Esa es como que tu coartada. In case you committed a crime, of course, right? ¿No? En caso de que cometamos algún crimen. But this is just suppositions, ¿sí? Son suposiciones. It's not true. We are learning new words. If you see a series, if you read a novel, this is the normal vocabulary you can find there. ¿Sí? Este es normalmente el vocabulario que se maneja en lo que es crímenes, historias así de suspenso, ¿no? Lo que está relacionado a misterios. Ajá, ese es el alibi. El culprit, it's another word for guilty, ¿no? La palabra culprit que vimos aquí en nuestra, estaba en un numerito. Ok, déjeme ver el numerito de culprit. It's number 14. Mira, aquí dice number 14. Dice The person responsible for committing a crime or wrongdoing. Entonces, it's a new word for guilty. La palabra guilty es culpable y su synonym sería culprit. Okay? Just to make some variations in your speaking. Oh, you can say, oh, the person the police found was culprit, or was the culprit, ¿no? La persona que la policía encontró era el culpable, o was guilty, was sentenced, ¿no? Guilty. That is, what other things? And here we have the different meanings of these new words. Okay. Vamos a ver. Number one era suspect. A ver, dice a person who is believed to be involved in a crime. Dice el sospechoso, ¿no? Una persona que se cree que está involucrada en un crimen o en algún acto ilícito. Very good. Wrongdoing. A piece of information that helps solve a crime or mystery. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué sería la dos? Una. Ajá, a clue, una pista, ¿no? Porque dice una parte o una información que te ayuda a resolver el crimen o misterio. Very good. Number three, cuando hablamos de evidence, ajá, hablamos de facts, information or objects that provide proof or support, ¿no? Lo que te da el soporte o la prueba, esa es tu evidencia, ¿no? Tú puedes decir muchas cosas, pero si no hay evidence, nobody is going to believe you, ¿no? Nadie te cree si no hay una evidencia que se pueda comprobar. Number four, si hablamos de lo que estábamos mencionando del alibi, it's a statement or evidence that proved a person was not at the crime scene. ¿Sí ven? Un alibi es puede ser una declaración que prueba que la persona no estuvo en la escena del crimen. Entonces, tu coartada, ¿no? Number five, detective. A person who investigates and solves crimes. La persona que investiga y resuelve los crímenes. Number six, investigation, the process of carefully examining a crime scene. ¿No? Ahí tenemos el witness. ¿Qué es witness? A person who has seen an event happen. ¿Qué vendría a ser el witness? Una persona que ha visto lo que ha sucedido. Eso es un witness. Es un testigo. Very good. De ahí interrogation, questioning someone, ¿no? Hacerle preguntas a alguien, ese es el questioning o interrogation. De ahí viene a ser the location where a crime has taken place. La ubicación donde el crimen se llevó a cabo o se ha suscitado, ese es el crime scene. De ahí dice intruder, a person who enters a place without permission. That's an intruder, ¿no? Alguien que entra sin permiso, it's an intruder. To buildings, to your houses, that's an intruder. Then you have a motive, a reason or cause. That explains why someone commits a crime, ¿no? El motivo por el que cometiste el crimen. 12. Caper, a playful or mischievous adventure, un acto ilícito, ¿no? Heist, a robbery or theft, ¿no? Viene a ser el robo o hurto. Large amount of money or valuable items. And then you have the person responsible, ya dijimos el culprit, y finalmente perpetrator, the individual who carries out a criminal act, el individuo o la persona que lleva a cabo este acto criminal, ¿no? Ese es el perpetrador o el asesino, lo que queramos ver. Okay, let's see. This is our vocabulary about crimes and mysteries. Vamos a ver, entonces te voy a compartir en este instante una página para que trabajemos este vocabulario. Let me see. A ver, let me check our Tommy Digital so that we can practice. I'm going to present the class. Okay, I'm gonna put this link here in the chat and let me know if you can enter. Please try to go inside the link and let me know if you can go inside. Please enter your name. Ingresemos nuestro nombre. And go. Excellent. I can see the Mario there, Milagros, Os, Ana, Rosa, everybody's here. Okay, try to go in. 14 students, 15. How many are there in the room? We have 62 students. Okay, try to go inside, please. Excellent. So, for a matter of time, we're going to start our class. Okay, let's start our class. Please write your answers. Time is going to be over. 14, 15 answers. Oops, yeah, very good. Okay, continue. Question number 2.
Mami, escúchame.
Next question. Question number 6. En la parte superior están las opciones. Hay una pestañita. Click and you will find the verbs. Ahí vamos a encontrar los verbos. Sí. Scroll down and you can see the verbs. Begun, given, heard, walked, kicked, hit, offered, and stood. Sí. Try to look them in this crossword. Next question. The last question, everybody.
No, me asustaste, me asustaste.
Here you can see the results. Very good. Thank you for participating. We're going to move to here. Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for participating at Tommy. This is like a quiz I prepared for you on passive voice. In this part, for reading, I want you to participate. ¿Sí? Necesito su participación for reading. Read the text and match the health problem to the home remedy. One health problem is not mentioned, okay? But before that, I want you to practice reading. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3 participants, 3 contestants, okay? I'm going to help you here in this part. Okay, let's see. I'm going to activate your microphone. Okay, so now you can participate. Okay. Let me ask. Carlene, you want to read?
Yes, I want to read.
Okay, read
Okay.
1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to put the numbers so that you know exactly what to read. This
Yeah.
is going to be number 1. Okay, number 1 and number 2. Please start.
Okay. Home remedies has been relied upon for centuries to alleviate various ailments. These natural solutions are often delivered from traditional knowledge and have been passed down through generations. Many herbs and ingredients commonly found in a household are utilized in these remedies. Number 2, for example, if you are struggling with a sore throat and a soothing condition of warm water, honey and lemon can be prepared. The honey and lemon mixture has been used to relieve throat irritation and reduce coughing
Coughing.
for generations. Coughing for generation.
Okay, thank you so much, Carlene. Anybody else?
Okay.
Alguien más who wants to read number 3 and number 4?
Me.
Okay, thank you so much, Karin. Number 3 and number 4, please.
Okay. And number 3, in this case of indigestion or a absent stomach, a 1 cup of ginger tea and can do wonders. Ginger has long been known for its digestive properties and it can help calm an uneasy stomach. Number 4, for minor skin irritations like insect bites or rashes, applying a paste made from baking soda and water can provide relief. This mixture is known for its ability to reduce itching and soak skin discomfort.
Very good. Okay, number 5 and number 6. Who wants to read number 5 and number 6?
Mm,
Open your microphone. Yes, Angie?
d'accord. Apple are an excellent remedy for depression. This fruit has vitamin B, phosphorus, and potassium, which help to reduce anxiety. So if you want to be happy, eat one shot apple with milk and honey for breakfast and another apple after lunch. 6. This,
Yes.
these are just four examples of how home remedies are employed to address common health issues. Home remedies are often preferred by individuals seeking alternative and holistic solutions to these everyday aliments, and
Element.
they continue to be explored and adapted for modern use.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you so much. So, this is one thing. How can we improve pronunciation? Pronunciation, for example, you can write this text in Google Translator and you listen to the pronunciation, or you can use an artificial intelligence platform or program or app, and you can listen to how native people can pronounce this text. That's one way to practice pronunciation, by listening to native speaker pronouncing the text. And then you practice yourself pronouncing in the same pace, in the same rhythm, and record yourself using
Rajo, cremita, mona.
Ujú. Y te grabas tú haciendo la pronunciación que escuchaste del native. In that way, you will improve your pronunciation and your speaking is going to be more fluent. Y así vamos a poder ser un poquito, tener un poco más de fluidez, ¿verdad? Entonces, that's one way. You can use an artificial intelligence program so that you can write the text, listen to the text, and pronounce. ¿Sí? Escuchamos y pronunciamos. And then record yourself, ¿no? Reading what you produce. Yeah, okay. Based on this text, home remedies, now you are going to do an activity. Vamos a hacer una activity porque decía match the health problem to the home remedy. But one health problem is not mentioned. Uno de esos problemas que hemos visto no está mencionado. For example, let's see. Vamos a ver qué remedies han puesto. Mire. En lo que hemos leído, in the text, they mention or they talk about sore throat, cancer, upset stomach, skin irritation, anxiety or depression. Estos son los health problems, nuestros problemas de salud comunes, ¿no? Que podríamos tener. But they mention home remedies. Entonces, ¿qué tenemos que hacer? Nuestro match. A ver, supongamos que esto es number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, and the last one is number 5. And to make a match, vamos a poner al ladito letters. Vamos a poner, aquí podríamos ponerle A, right here B, C, para poder hacer un match, D, and finally E. Okay, so now we can make a match.
One with D, I think so.
Okay. A sore throat with warm water, honey, and lemon.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Cancer. You say 2A, not mentioned. What about upset stomach?
Eat one.
E.
3. Skin irritation. I can see your answers in the chat. Skin irritation. Number 4.
With C.
4 with C.
4 with C.
Very good. And what about anxiety or depression? What letter would it be?
5 with
5
D.
with
5.
D.
So, if you have a sore throat, what is the home remedy you need to do? A sore throat. Oh, it's impossible. I can't talk. What do you recommend? ¿Qué recomiendas para un sore throat?
It recommended warm water, honey, and lemon.
Excellent. It's recommended warm water, honey, and lemon to do this. Perfect. Exactly. And if I have anxiety or I feel a little depressed, what home remedy can I use? For anxiety or depression?
Eat one chopped apple.
Eat one chopped apple. Very good. Excellent. Do they mention about, or do they talk about cancer in the reading?
No,
No,
I
exactly.
don't think.
About cancer, not mentioned, right? So this is another reading that I'm going to give you. And as I said, reading for pleasure. You are going to read it at home. You are going to understand or look for new words. And after that, you are going to try to do this comprehension question, ¿sí? Te dejo este reading como actividad para que refuerces lo que hemos estado trabajando y también te hago unas questions, ¿sí? ¿Para qué? Practice. We are going to do this activity. We are going to find and correct 6 mistakes. I have highlighted the mistakes and I want you to tell me how it should be written. ¿Cómo deben ser escritos? Where is the mistake? Okay, you are going to have like, let's see, 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes to correct the mistakes. Okay, ready, set, go. Again, 6 mistakes. Vamos a ponerle numeritos so that you can know how to work. This is going to be number 1. This is going to be number 2. This is going to be number 3. You can write your answers in the chat. I can read it. 4, 5, and also 6. Here. Very good. I have one answer. What do you say? A ver, ¿qué dicen los demás? It's okay. Very good, Karen, Wendell. Very good. Okay, you have written that number one is only happened, right? In Peru, a powerful earthquake happened last week. Very good. That's the answer, happened. Okay, causing widespread destruction in several cities. The earthquake was felt strongly by the residents. In many buildings, number two, many buildings was damaged or were damaged or just damaged. What would you say? We cannot see. I'm going to write down the answer right here. Number two is were damaged, not was, because it says buildings, many buildings were damaged or destroyed, were destroyed. Rescue operations. What about number three? It says here are currently having conducted. ¿Está bien? Are currently having conducted. Excellent, Mario. Are currently being conducted. Being, not having. Number three. Are currently being conducted. Excellent. What about number four? By the authorities, and assistance is being provided to the affected communities. The magnitude of the earthquake was estimated to be 7.5 on the Richter scale. And excellent. It was reported. It was reported. And it was reported that over 1,000 people it was reported that over 1,000 people no podemos cambiar al present porque todo está aquí en esta parte. It was reported that over 1,000 people were evacuated. Very good, Aria. Were evacuated from their homes. Emergency services What about number 6? Emergency services. And international aid is being sent to support the relief efforts. Emergency services are being overwhelmed and international aid is being sent to support. A ver. Services is plural. Are overwhelmed. Are overwhelmed. And international aid is being sent to support the relief efforts. Yes, those are the mistakes in this paragraph. Okay, let's continue to see what else do we have in the presentation. Okay, game time. Game time. You're gonna have 10 seconds or a minute. You have to create a passive sentence with the words I'm going to give you, with those words. For example, this is number one sentence. You have the soup. I'm sorry. Something happened. We have the soup. That's our first element. We have the girl. And also we have the verb. We are going to make a sentence and pay attention to the tense. They are giving you here the tense. Tomorrow. So we need to be careful how we are going to make this sentence. We need to use the word soup, girl, the verb eat, and the tense, tomorrow. And you're going to have like 10 seconds or maybe 20 so that you can make your sentence. A ver, ¿listos? Right, okay. Very good, Mario. Excellent. What is the first element? The soup or the girl? ¿Cuál va a ser nuestro sujeto? The soup or the girl?
The soup.
Excellent. Thank you, Carly. The soup. Very good. Ya tengo mi subject. Ahora, me dice tomorrow. Tengo que poner mi pasivo. ¿Cuál es el tomorrow? Aquí primero me detengo, porque tengo que buscar el pasivo de to be. A ver, si me dice tomorrow, ¿qué debo usar? Debo usar will be. Cada vez que me dicen futuro, esto es will be. ¿Cuál es el verbo que voy a usar? ¿Cuál es el verbo?
Eat.
Eat. Pero uso solo así, will be eat. ¿Ya está? ¿O tiene
Will
una
be eating.
will be eaten?
ING.
Tengo que usar past participle del verbo eat. The soup will be eaten. Ahora necesito el agent. ¿Quién va a realizar eso? Ese eaten, ¿quién lo va a hacer?
The girl.
The girl. ¿Y solo pongo así, the girl? ¿O cuál era la preposición que usaba?
By the girl.
Excellent. By the girl. Ahora ya tengo mi oración en pasiva. The soup will be eaten by the girl. Muy bien. Tomorrow. Le puedo agregar. Y ahí está. He usado the elements that I was given. Y usé los elementos que me dieron. The soup will be eaten by the girl tomorrow. Excelente. Ok, so you got the idea, ¿verdad? Ya tenemos la idea de cómo voy a hacer la oración. Nos queda la siguiente. A ver, vamos a ver con la siguiente. Ustedes solitos ahora. Sorry. Wait. Yeah, number 2. Ahí tenemos carrots. Tenemos a un rabbit. De nuevo aparece el verbo eat, pero dice now. Now. ¿Qué tiempo será cuando a mí me dicen now, right now?
Present.
Only present? O present progressive. Cuando usamos la expresión now o right now, estamos hablando de un tiempo progressive, un progresivo, un ongoing action, una situación que se da en continuidad. While you speak, ese es el now. Entonces, a ver, oraciones, les veo. Carrot, yeah, very good. Os. Yeah, Wendell also. Yeah, there. Angie. Ya, pero aquí, Angie. ¿Quién se come ese carrots? ¿Quién es Dave? Ajá, very good. Michaela, very good. ¿Quién se va a comer esos carrots, Micaela? Ajá, very good, Karen. Rabbit. Ajá, excellent. Ya, muy bien. Angie, buena percepción. También pueden ser personas. Pero usas en este caso them. Usa them, Karen. No uses they. ¿Ya? Usa siempre, si vas a hablar de personas, pueden ser them. ¿Ya? Eso es lo único. Ex. ¿Sí? Si es una chica o una girl, her. Si es un boy, him. ¿Ya? ¿Por qué? Porque te encuentras ahorita en el object, te encuentras en el complemento. Y no puedo usar they porque they es un subject pronoun y su position es at the beginning of the sentence. Y su posición siempre va a ser al inicio. That's the only thing, but your sentence was okay, was perfect. Estaba bien tu oración, ¿sí? Solamente cambiamos ese they. Okay, so I can see that you have written down the answers in the chat and you have said the carrots. Como quedamos en progresivo, estoy poniendo are y siempre va a ir con ing. The carrots are being y quedamos que ponemos eaten y le puedo decir by the rabbit. Now. Ahí está mi passive voice. The carrots are being eaten by the rabbit now. Okay, ready for our third sentence. Siguiente, estamos en game time. Okay, I'm remembering or I'm recalling what I've learned before. Angie, very good. Number 3, you have house, you have clean, and also yesterday. Okay, empezamos. 10, 9, 8, 7. Ajá, very good, Angie. Ajá, it's okay. Ahora sí está perfecto. Very good, Mario. Excellent. Excellent, Michaela. Anybody else? ¿Alguien más que conteste? So, quedamos de esta manera. Y decimos the house. The house was clean. By the couple. Very good. Como puso Angie también, by them. Y ponemos la expresión yesterday. Excellent. The house was cleaned by the couple yesterday. Or by them also. Very good. Our last sentence for this game time is this, number 4. Tenemos car, not drive in future. Negative. Not drive in future. Excellent. Very good, Karen. The house was clean. Very good, Mario. Any ideas for the number 4? Ujú. Excellent. All right. Vamos a ver. Each element. Future. Says the car. Ujú. ¿Cómo era el futuro? Darío, el futuro. ¿Qué usamos para el futuro? ¿Has o will?
Will.
Excellent. Will. Pero nos dice negative. ¿Cómo hacemos?
Will not or won't.
Excellent. Will not or won't. Perfect. You can use the contraction. Will not. ¿Qué más debo poner? Always. Si digo will, tengo que poner el be.
Verb to be.
Yes. Will be or will not be. How is the past participle of drive? Pasado participio de drive. The same?
Driven.
Excellent. Driven. The car will not be driven. Y veo aquí un picture de a girl or a woman, and I can say the car will not be driven
By her.
by her.
By the madam, by the lady.
Exactly. By the mother, by the lady, by the woman. Excellent. The car will not be driven by her. Very good, Angie. ¿Sí? No puedo ponerle by she porque ya está en el object position, en el complement. Ahí uso los otros, ¿sí? Siempre es importante ir recalling our previous knowledge, ¿no? Recordando nuestro conocimiento previo que ya hemos aprendido de esos subject pronouns. Okay, so I'm going to help you with this. Thank you. So I'm going to read this part that somebody mentioned. So I'm going to read this part so that you can check pronunciation, okay? Home remedies have been relied upon for centuries to alleviate various ailments. Ailments son como diseases, but in a minor part, ¿no? En una parte más bajita, que dolencias. These natural solutions are often derived from traditional knowledge and have been passed down through generations. Many herbs and ingredients commonly found in households are utilized in these remedies. For example, if you're struggling with a sore throat, a soothing concoction of warm water, honey, and lemon can be prepared. The honey and lemon mixture has been used to relieve throat irritation and reduce coughing for generations. In the case of indigestion or an upset stomach, a warm cup of ginger tea can do wonders. Ginger has long been known for its digestive properties, and it can calm an uneasy stomach. For minor skin irritations like insect bites or rashes, applying a paste made from baking soda and water can provide relief. This mixture is known for its ability to reduce itching and soothe the skin discomfort. Apples are an excellent remedy for depression. This fruit has vitamin B, phosphorus, and potassium, which help to reduce anxiety. So, if you want to be happy, eat one chopped apple with milk and honey for breakfast, and another apple for lunch or after lunch. These are just a few examples of how home remedies are employed to address common health issues. Home remedies are often preferred by individuals seeking alternative and holistic solutions to these everyday ailments, and they continue to be explored and adapted for modern use. Listen to the conversation or to the text again and practice. Okay, my dear students? Thank you so much for today's class. It has been a lovely experience to practice with passive voice. As I said at the beginning, study the chart, remember the irregular verbs, and have a wonderful time using this lovely tense, passive voice. Muchas gracias por la clase de hoy, por haber estado presente y participar y aprender del pasivo, ¿sí? Y como les dije, siempre es importante seguir practicando, ¿no? La tablita que les he dado, los tiempos, recordando los irregular verbs. See you in our next class on Wednesday. Have a lovely evening, good night, and see you soon.
Excelente, muchísimas gracias, estimada docente, por la clase impartida, sesión número 4. De igual manera, agradecer a cada uno de ustedes, estimados participantes, por haber concluido con esta sesión académica programada para el día de hoy. Voy a compartir pantallita para que ustedes puedan anotar el número si tuvieran preguntas, dudas o consultas. No duden en escribirme de manera interna, ¿sí? Ya sea durante el transcurso del día o de la semana, estamos para poderlos ayudar en todo momento, estimados participantes, ¿correcto? Recuerden que mi celular es el 991-373-227 para sus dudas o consultas. También es importante recalcar la frecuencia del curso, que son los días lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 9 de la noche, hora Perú. Quiere decir que todavía nos está sobrando o faltando 2 sesiones más. ¿Cuál es? La sesión 5, que es el Past Time Review, que vamos a verlo este miércoles, y la sesión 6, que es el Question Tags, que estaríamos viéndolo el día viernes. Con esta última sesión ya estaríamos culminando el curso. No se preocupen que las clases han sido grabadas para todos aquellos participantes que han estado quizás un poco tarde, se han incorporado a clases, ¿sí? El examen final es el día viernes después de clasecitas. Recuerda, para que usted se pueda certificar es importante obtener una calificación final mayor o igual a 14, ya que esta nota acredita al participante que está apto o apta para su trámite respectivo de su certificado. El certificado le va a salir con mención en inglés avanzado a nombre de la institución del Tecnológico con las 90 horas académicas. Todos los certificados cuentan con el código QR para su respectiva validación. El costo es de 30 soles para los de Perú y de 10 dólares para los del extranjero. Sí, no hay ningún inconveniente si te encuentras en otro país para que usted pueda tramitar su certificado. Recuerda que un certificado avala su conocimiento y puede estar adjunto en su CV para poder aplicar algún puesto de trabajo, ya sea en alguna entidad pública o privada. También recuerden que el último día de clases vamos a ver nosotros lo que es el sorteo. Fabiola, soy su asistente Ana Verástegui, no Lady, ¿sí? Ana Verástegui. Ok, o tal vez, a ver, disculpe, ¿a qué cuenta se debe hacer la transferencia, Karen? ¿Note o que hacen algún curso para el examen Cambridge? A ver, Karencita, las cuentas bancarias se les va a brindar a ustedes el último día de clases para que puedan depositar, ¿sí? Cuando nosotros realizamos el depósito para el examen, el último día de clases, no al inicio ni al intermedio, sino al finalizar el curso, ¿sí? Listo. No, Angie, todavía no tenemos ninguno de esos 2 tipos de exámenes para que usted pueda brindarlo, ¿sí? Le recomiendo que se acerque a una institución en cuanto al idioma inglés, si usted desea tener un certificado más avanzado para que pueda adjuntarlo o realizar algún trámite. Sí, Angie. Aubit, ¿cuál es tu consultita? Thank you, Miss Ana. Gracias, Angie. Gracias a cada uno de ustedes. Nos vemos el día miércoles. Muy bien. Voy a volver a pedirte mi número si hay preguntas, dudas o consultas para que me puedan escribir durante el transcurso del día o de la semanita. Las clases han sido grabadas, se les va a compartir el día de mañana tempranito.